Hello everyone and welcome to the second Let's Play of Kentucky Route Zero. We are pretty much going to pick up exactly where we left off in part 1. See, we got these guys up here still making some sweet bluegrass music. And I think right now I'm going to take a look at my notes because I had forgotten where I was supposed to go. And I say forgotten because in the interest of full disclosure, I actually recorded audio for this separately in the video. I had recorded something with the video, but it didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to. It kind of, actually, to be quite honest, turned out to be garbage. So we're going to keep trucking here and keep moving. Hopefully this doesn't go too much against the spirit of this Let's Play. And something else I wanted to bring up was that the last Let's Play was 30 minutes long. That's not going to be the norm for these videos. I'm actually going to try and keep them between 15 and 20 minutes. I think at the end of that video I had mentioned I thought it was 10 to 15 minutes long, which was not true. But here we're going to take a look at this museum. A sign in front of the building just reads museum. The lights are off, but the front door is open. And let's enter the museum. Conway steps through the museum's doors. A few feet inside the museum doors, the ambient sound of the highway drops sharply away. The room is cold, dark and still. A book lies open on a table in the center of the room. An open hallway extends to the left. Large glass doors bar the path ahead. We're going to walk through the glass doors. The glass doors won't budge. To apply any more force would likely break them. Well, we don't want to do that, so I think we're just going to return to the entrance here. This is pretty much the same stuff we just read. Yep. Let's take a look at that book. Conway looks at the book. There's no title on the book's spine or cover. A 3-word phrase written in pencil on the first page is smudged and indecipherable. On the first page, someone has left an ink drawing of a horse. Several dozen pages later, at the end of the book, is an elaborate ink drawing of a one-legged man working an antique adding machine, surrounded by whiskey bottles. Oh, that's the American dream, isn't it? We'll check out that hallway now. Conway walks down the hallway to the left. Conway's steps echo against the hallway's marble floor and arched ceilings. Plexiglass boxes line the walls. The hallway dead ends on a darkened display case. Conway examines the boxes on the walls. The first box, just a few feet into the hall, contains an assortment of bird wings. Some are missing feathers. One large, brightly colored wing almost glows in the moonlight. Its feathers are intact, but a piece of bone pokes awkwardly out from the tip. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. Conway examines the darkened display case. The display case is several yards wide, but just a few feet off the ground. It's unlit, and back in this corner of the darkened museum very little moonlight creeps in. A gold-plated plaque on the surface of the case is a bit easier to read. It recounts a short history of fowl hunting in the region and then speculates, abruptly, about the nature of addiction. And again, I know I'm reiterating a lot of stuff in this Let's Play so far, but the quality of the writing is utterly fantastic so far. It's very, very good, to say the least. We're just gonna keep moving though. And that's all we can do here, but we might go back and look at that, those glass doors and see if we can actually break them. There's not much consequence for that, I don't think. Or maybe there will be later, who knows. So I'll check those out. He walks through the glass doors, they won't budge. We'll force through the doors. Conway applies more force to the doors. The glass shatters. Somewhere ahead, a light switches on. After a moment, it switches off. The room is dark again, and the floor is covered in broken glass. And I think it's time to just get out, just book it, because we might have committed a felony. So drive away. Hurry, get away. Alright, so we're going to keep moving north, because that's where the bait and tackle shop is. Somewhere near a lake, I think it said. Which might be that craggy looking thing up there. So we're just going to keep on moving. riding our big wheel. I wonder if he looks like Axel from Twisted Metal on the freeway. There's the bait shop. Conway pulls into the bait shop parking lot. Vaulted above the road on a thin steel bar, a handwritten sign reads, "Live bait. Minnows small and large for stripers, night crawlers, chips and beer." A green flyer hangs loosely from a bit of masking tape at eye level. To the shop's right, a dirt parking lot sprawls unevenly into grass and then eventually trees. The bait shop is open. Conway enters the bait shop. Narrow aisles crowded with lures, reels, rods, and sacks divide the shop lengthwise from entrance to the cashier's counter. The left wall is lined with churning tanks of water. Definitely want to peek into those. Conway approaches the tanks. 3 metal tanks aren't labeled, and the water is too agitated to get a clear view of what's inside each one. The contents of the first tank are vaguely gray. The second is a muddy pink. The third is clear. The shiny silver flecks occasionally flash along its surface. Conway reaches into the first tank. Conway's hand brushes against something roughly the size of his palm. Conway reaches deeper into the tank. Conway's hand comes into contact with a scaly, uneven surface. As he runs his fingers along the bottom, a bead of sweat bridges the inches from his temple to the water's surface. Something bites at his forearm. He recoils. Conway reaches into the second tank. Conway's fingers slip through something fleshy but inert. The sensation is nauseating. Conway reaches deeper into the tank. As his elbow passes into the pinkish mass, he realizes he's about to be sick from the smell and pulls away. And the last one. Conway reaches into the third tank. The water seems to tremble with life. Conway can't tell if his hand is being nibbled by fish or massaged by the artificial current. As his eyes near the surface of the water, he can see something colorful glowing faintly at the bottom of the tank. Conway reaches deeper into the tank. A tremor spreads from his elbow out to his fingertips, and up to the base of his shoulder. His vision flickers. The water is running warm, under his skin now, and he has the sensation that something is about to snap. His eyes close. He lays on a rooftop, new shingles rough beneath his back, swelling in the noon sun. He is exhausted. They must have started before dawn. His legs are sore from holding stable on the uneven surface, his wrists from breaking old sealant, his fingers from carefully lifting shingles to hammer down new ones. His boss, Ira, yells from the idling truck below. He shades his eyes with his hand. A beer would be good. It's barely past noon, but he's worked a full day already. What could the harm be? Maybe a shot at the counter, just to get his eyes open, then a beer. He could offer to drive into town for lunch, and stop at that place on Cumberland. The cashier pushes Conway roughly on the shoulder. He's been talking, yelling maybe, but it's all an echo now. Conway looks up, his neck stiff with pain, his right palm still tingling. The cashier points to the tank, then above it to a few holes torn in the wall, nail holes from which an electric sign has been dislodged and fallen into the water. He helps Conway to his feet, looks at him pitifully, and returns to the cash register. I got a little electric shock there. In these narrow aisles, they're still crowded, in case you were wondering. So we're gonna approach the counter now. Conway approaches the counter. A wiry cashier stands behind the register, preoccupied with a Sudoku puzzle. I think we're looking for Shannon Marquez, but... Conway asks about the basketball game. The cashier switches on the radio. An AM sports broadcast is playing, but Conway can't be sure if it's meant to answer or to drown out his questions. Conway asks about Shannon Marquez's workshop. A handwritten sign on the door behind the counter reads, "TV repairs by appointment, please. Consult with cashier." Cashier knocks a few times on the door and waits, occasionally glancing at his puzzle. After a few moments with no answer, he notices a smaller note written on the sign, reads it, then points it out to Conway. Let's read that note. Conway reads the note on the workshop door. "Weaver, I got your message. Have left for the old mine. Don't know if I will see you there or what. Ready either way. Shannon." And I wasn't sure if there was another note, so I clicked it again, but it turns out same note. Still ready. And we're gonna walk away. I guess we'll leave the shop. And I had missed an option earlier when we had approached the bait shop, so we're gonna take a look at that in a second here. It's about that green flyer. Let's read the flyer. Conway reads the flyer. Computer printed type in a bold font surrounds a clip art illustration of a TV set. The TV has eyes, arms, and legs. Its shoulders are slouched. On the screen is a cartoon expression of exhausted nausea. A hot water bottle rests against its wire antenna. And I really like that. It adds a neat touch, and it's actually a believable piece of clip art. TV repair. No model too old. Inquire within. We do not sell digital converters. And we're gonna exit this area. So now we're gonna head towards the Zero, because I think we've seen what we need to see in this area. There might be other things. Oh wait, nope, there's a guitar player. Kind of forgot about this part. A young man in gray stained clothes sits by the side of the road. He is playing a worn guitar. To his left is a blue mug, and to his right a weathered dog. Let's pet that dog. Conway pets the dog. The dog closes its eyes and pretends to be asleep. The young man strums absently on the guitar, hums tunelessly, and occasionally mumbles a word. Much like I'm doing right now. Conway pulls a wrinkled dollar bill from his back pocket and puts it in the young man's cup. The young man stops playing, pulls a wet dollar bill out of his whiskey, and hands it back to Conway. Well, you know what? You can keep your whiskey. I'll keep my dollar bill. So here I got a bit confused and I started going up the route instead of going right back there. So they're actually interesting to point out. There's no way to access that top part. I'm not sure if it'll be open in later acts or maybe later in this act. But so far, no dice. So we're gonna head down here. We're looking out for the artificial limb factory, and there it is. It's a factory. A creek runs alongside the highway and then turns toward a dirty brick building. A grinding drone from within the building is faintly audible from the interstate. Floodlights on the lawn illuminate smokestacks. At the edge of the building's parking lot, a large sign, partly obscured by trees, reads, "Amer Artificial Limb Factory." It's exactly what we're looking for. So go up a little bit. We're gonna head over that way. And we've reached the Zero. So I'm gonna cut the video here. And, well, actually, no. We're gonna take a look around and talk to Blue for a bit. But I don't want to get too ahead of us here, and I don't want to get into anything major or time-consuming, because this video is approaching about 15 minutes. So we're gonna have a little conversation with Blue. I think we're actually gonna see if that look at option has changed at all. And it hasn't. Still an old hound, still in a straw hat. Both still seen better days. So we're gonna have a little conversation here. Conway brushes some dirt off Blue's hat. How's it going, Blue? And I like the second one. Hey, you got something on your hat. That one right there. Been digging in Lysette's flowers again? And she just can't keep you out of there, can she? So I think we're going to call it here. Pretty excited to see what happens. We finally reached the Zero, which is supposedly the whole point of this story. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It should be up by the end of the week. So I'll see you then.